Oh, there we go. Yeah, that is my next purchase.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in on this fine Tuesday evening with some Division 2 action with RSF1. I'm Harvey FC. It's a pleasure to be here once again, the first time in a very long time. And I'm joined by Mr. Adam Moore. Adam, how you doing?
I'm not too bad at all, thank you. Nice to be here. Looking
Yeah,
forward to a good race around France. It can throw up some penalties, some good overtaking opportunities. So it
well,
should be a good.
it certainly can. I mean, the pure number of straights on here and the slipstream you can pull does lend itself to a good amount of overtaking, which you always love to see. And
Absolutely.
only 13 today, which means we are short qualifying. That's the way we run, as I have no game sound whatsoever, which is not great. But we'll see if we can fix that. Yeah, only 13 today, so we'll have a slightly shorter quali session, but um, should still be a very enjoyable race.
It should indeed. I'm expecting overtakes down into turn one, turn eight, maybe into turn 10, possibly even into turn three if people are feeling brave.
Yeah, I mean that it's it's one of those, right? It's a especially this race in particular. It's a case of picking your battles and not wanting
Absolutely.
to push anything too early because the risk of damage here makes it so difficult to get around the third sector in particular. I apologize. I am going to try and fix these audio problems very quickly. Um, so there are reasons to play it safe, and I'm sure we will see plenty of dive bombs regardless, particularly down
Absolutely. Oh, yeah.
into the middle chicane.
I'm expecting a one stop from most people, barring any safety cars. Either mediums to hards or hards to mediums, whichever way they choose to go. I believe Devil Noob is going to be the first man to cross the line. I will keep an eye on that. A long run down the back straight to the timing line with a Devil Noob with a 129.638 and Randy Gandy with the exact same time just set afterwards. CQR Rossi comes across the line with a 129.8. Rapid Owen 129.2 goes on provisional pole. Zach across the line with 129.937. Eagle with a 130.242. It's going to be a McLaren next across the line. Comes crossing a 130.149.
I've still, unfortunately, got nothing, but we'll at least watch what's going on, and then perhaps towards the end of quali we'll do a reset. I've no idea what's happening. It was working absolutely fine when I was testing earlier, but sadly we seem to have lost the sound.
Yes, we were supposed to be on that stream. We're just trying to sort out some technical issues.
Is a frustrating one. I mean, almost everybody now completing at least a banker lap. Aaron is the only one on a hot lap at the moment. Just rounding through sector 1. And this is where we're going to see the biggest differences, particularly in terms of setup coming out of this final corner and the long front straight.
It's a hard mix to get right. Yeah, you're going to need good downforce for the chicanes and the long sweeping corners, but then you don't want to be too slow in the straight, and it's a balancing act for this one.
And there's a couple really tight bends as well, particularly, I mean, turn 1 you can carry a huge amount of speed through into turn 2 in particular, but the final turn is a hairpin, so you need a decent amount of downforce to then get a good run along the home straight, but you then leave yourself very vulnerable if you put on too much for the other 2 straights, with decent braking zones towards the end as well. So it is a real balancing act. It's always exciting to see what people end up running with as Aaron comes around the final turn to set his first lap of the session, which moves him up to P11. Cornish invalidating Locker on his way round as well. Yeah, he will be the next across the line to set his first time of the session so far.
So, Rapid Owen at the top at the moment by 0.4. That's a pretty big gap for a first run.
And interestingly, I will say, because this is some information that I have available to me, the slowest car currently on the straight, like the slowest time through the speed trap, is Rapid Owen. So
interesting.
Despite having the slowest car and presumably the highest wings, he currently leads the way on the timing sheets.
Very interesting.
He has struck the balance the best so far. The fastest car, just to also point out, is Eagle in P10.
P10, so royally down towards the bottom there.
Indeed. A Rapid Owen, not so rapid.
And seems to be working well for him.
Yeah, the fastest so far. Locker setting a time to put him P7. He's coming around to finish his cooldown lap. Cornish, the only man out there so far yet to set a time. He set a purple sector 2 there briefly. He's going to come around the final, very twisty, very flowy sector 3 here.
I will be back very shortly.
Yeah, no problem. Around the penultimate. Now the final turn in his Alpine.
Yeah. No, I tried it.
And we'll see what he is able to do. Crosses the line. P5 for Cornish. So, your top 10 as it currently stands. Owen, as mentioned a couple times, does currently lead the way Firefish P2, Devil Noob P3, Randy Gandy P4, Cornish P5, Rossi in P6, Zach in P7, Locker in P8, Watt in P9, and Desbro in P10. We are more now than halfway through this short qualifying session. Due to our grid size today, that is what we are running with. And Cornish just slowing down now. Devil Noob currently improving through Sector 1. He set a purple Sector 2 there as well. Only 2/10 up would not be enough to topple Owen, unless he can find some more time through this final section. As he comes down the straight across the line. Not quite enough, but it is an improvement. Up to P2. 129.274 for him. Cornish just going off track to let a few cars by as it stands. Almost running side by side with Desbro there. It's the McLaren driver looking to improve on his 130. Break into that 129s, inch a little bit closer to the front of the field. But pulls into the pit lane instead. Rossi in the pits. Watt improves by almost 0.4 of a second. Moves himself up to P6 at the moment. Randy Gandy crosses the line as well. To start a flying lap, I believe. He is indeed down on his previous best. But plenty of time to make it up. Got a bit of a toe in front here as well. See what he's able to do with that. Two cars pulling over to the right-hand side to let him by as well. Entering Sector 3 now. 5 turns to go. So he'll hit this long sweeping left-hander. Pulls into the pits as well. One more go for a few of these drivers. Before we bring this session to a close. Seems to have been a bit of an off. I am aware, Darren. Unfortunately, I have completely lost all game sound. It's not coming through anywhere on my end, so see what we can do. All right, Cornish starting a flying lap here as well. Yeah, it's not, unfortunately. I appreciate the advice. No, it's just not playing the audio through my computer whatsoever. I do not know why. Anyway, Cornish looking to make a bid for pole position. Needs to find 4/10 in this lap. Halfway through currently. Did improve in sector 1 by almost 3/10. So you can find a little bit more time on these straights. Maybe hit that middle chicane a little better. And unfortunately has not. Should still be up on his previous best though. Around sector 3 for what will most likely be his final flying lap of the session today. Unless he's going to go for an absolutely mega cooldown. Will cross the line to improve up to P3, putting an Alpine in both slots on the second row of the grid as it currently stands. Randy Gandy crossing the line as well to start a flying lap of his own in that AlphaTauri car. Yellow flag's flying in the middle of sector 2, but that shouldn't be a problem for him just yet. Anyway, starting to see a little bit of traffic pile up, which is an issue you get at France upon occasion. But looks to be all really cleared out of the way for now. See what kind of speeds he's reaching here on the way down. 188, 190 miles an hour coming up to the long right-hander. Really picking up some pace in that AlphaTauri. Improving again. Another 10th down. It's not going to be enough for pole position unless he can find something ridiculous in these final few turns. Maybe put on a little bit more front wing. Does improve, does move up as well. Knocking one of those Alpines off the second row. Randy Gandy finds himself in P3 as it stands. JD Devil Noob invalidated. And that will be the end of his session, so he'll be unable to go any further. We may as well, in this situation, ride on board with the current pole sitter, Rapid Owen, who really has no threats, it seems to be, around him. But we'll see what this man can do. Current championship leader, Watt, is all the way down in P6, but on a lap at the moment. It's not going to be the one and only time he's finding himself in this position. And he's got results from it before. It's Firefish just pulling off there, bringing out the yellow flags, as the stewards need to do. A lot further down the field now, back down to P7. Few drivers just ending their sessions early now. Checkered flag has been flown, so it will just be these final laps. And Owen is going to cross the line. He's about a 10th up at the moment. He does indeed find 7,000ths of a second, improving his time. Can't quite crack the 128, but still a great lap. Firefish invalidated, so that will be the end of our session. And it's Rapid Owen on top as it stands. And there is your grid. Rapid Owen will lead the way down to turn 1. He'll have JD Devil Noob for company on the front row of the grid. Randy Gandy, Cornish, Rossi, Locker, Firefish, Resilience in the Ferrari in P8. Zach P9, Watton P10, Desbro P11, Eagle P12, and Aaron in the Haas in P13 rounds off our field for tonight. I will try, in our little brief break that we have, once again to try and fix this audio. I do apologise. I'm going to say that over and over and over again until I figure out what on earth is actually going on. Because I truly, sadly, have absolutely no idea. Can leave and rejoin, but it sounds like a bit of a gamble to me. Sorry once again, folks, there is no action at the moment. So we're not missing out on anything just yet. And I wish I had some answers for you. We've got another idea. Let's try the more practical approach. Still appears to be nothing. Right, we'll try. I very much don't want to miss anything of the race, so doing my best here to get restarted absolutely as quick as I can. Which is waiting again. Right, I'm just trying to get back into the lobby now then. This is the game we love.
Oh, yes. Friends. HRV in it.
That's the one. Perfect.
Got it.
Thank you. Were you formation lap or racing or?
Formation lap.
Okay. Let's be able to join. That's good timing. Still no sound, but
Still no sound. Okay.
still no sound. After all of that.
Have you got an Xbox controller plugged in?
I do indeed.
If you press your Xbox button, just make sure it's not turned down in that, because it brings up a load of different overlays.
Well, we'll watch the start first, and then I will have a double check. Here we go then. Away they go, all the way down to turn 1. Bumping off one another, all go very tight through turn 1. This front 5, all side by side with each other. Randy Gandy barely hanging on there with Cornish up his inside through turn 2. They go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as they were at the front of the grid. No real changes so far. Firefish down to P8, Resilience promoted up to P6. All look to be through pretty safely. There were a few movements further back, but no actual damage so far to any of these cars. Cornish already looking for a move down into the first chicane and gets it done without really any danger at all. Firefish and Watt are going side by side. I think that was 3 abreast with Locker there as well, all getting involved.
Aaron taking Desbro. P10 puts him into the points. Long way to go, of course.
And here goes Watnell again up the inside, this time of Firefish. Does get the move done, and he moves himself up to P7.
Funnily enough, I had no game sound for a second, then I paused it, unpaused it, it came back again.
No. Still not working for me. I had it earlier, so something's obviously changed. I will figure it out, but...
Oh, the strange one. Zach with a 3-second penalty on the first lap. That is not good news.
That is not where you want to be whatsoever. Resilience looking maybe to make a dive on Randy Gandy here for P5. We'll set him up for later on in the lap. We'll keep an eye on that battle. Rapid Owen has lost his lead as well. JDW managed to make his way up into primary position. Owen laying off a little bit. We know his car is slower than these others. We've seen that in qualifying, so he's going to have to catch him on the straight here, and I don't think it's going to be as easy as some of the overtakes we've seen already. Look at the speed that Rossi's got on that Mercedes as well, on the softer compounded tyres. He's going to go side by side. They almost touch as well on the entrance into the chicane. There goes Cornish all the way wide. And Ferrari as well, getting closer and closer. Resilience is doing everything he can to try and get the AlphaTauri ahead of him. I think he's probably worried more than anything about that Haas that's come up. so many times and taken so many cars. They do bump each other, and there's a bit more contact on the way through. They're still going side by side, and now the Ferrari, it seems, just about is getting in front. They're still bumping. Now Watt's getting involved as well. Finally seems to concede. The Haas moves in front, then the AlphaTauri. The Ferrari here, Resilience may lose out again, and does indeed to Firefish. They're still going side by side, now back into turn one. And Randy Gandy this time comes out on top, just about manages to hold off the Haas, who's coming back at him again, has the inside line for this next right-hander, backs out of it, preserving the tyres, perhaps, from Watnell. It all kicked off for a moment there.
So Watnell up 4 places at the minute, P6. Looks like he's going for a move on Randy Gandy and takes him before they even get to the braking zone. Very nicely done.
Very nicely done indeed. Bar that little scuffle we had, it's all been fairly clean so far, which you like to see.
Oh, Aaron into the pits. And back out again. 54 seconds. Was that a front wing change? I missed that, unfortunately.
Must have been onto the hard tyres, looking to take them
Nice
deep into this race. Now, surely.
Aaron possibly hoping for a safety car a bit later on to help bring him back into this race.
Yeah, I mean, if he can preserve those tyres a little bit from here, he's going to be able to go very, very far into this race.
I think Rapido might be trying to make a move on Devil New down the back straight now. DRS has been enabled.
Well, let's see what he's able to do.
Coach might be taking a look at Rossi as well.
Oh, and it seems is definitely going to retake this lead.
Yeah, the overspeed there was immense.
Lost it early on in lap 1, but now manages to reclaim on lap 4. And it's a fairly easy one for the Mercedes driver, all in all. Breezed by in the end.
Got a group of cars from Watnell down to Locker, all fighting for positions.
Yeah, and Firefish, the one who I would say looks the most racy out of the lot, but on those hard tyres is struggling to really make up any positions. He's been very close to Randy Gandy for a couple laps now, but hasn't quite been able to get the move done just yet.
Maybe waiting a few more laps till the medium starts slide a little. He'll have a lot more grip then.
Could all just be a waiting game. Rossi is very, very close again to Devil Noob as well, backing off a little now.
So the 4 guys at the front, Owen, Devil Noob, Rossi and Cornish, just starting to pull a little bit of a gap to Watnell. Down there up to 2 seconds now.
I guess train all the way down to the chicane here. Watnell not going to be fast enough to hold that position. As this time it's Randy Gandy who moves by. He's going to fight it a little bit here though on the exit. Not quite fast enough it seems, or he's going to give it a go. But slots in behind the AlphaTauri in the end.
Smart move coming into the fast right under there. You don't want to be going too wide there if you can help it.
Look at the train we have. I mean, from P1 to P4, it's just over a second. And then P5 down to P10 is also just over a second. Two huge clumps of cars, and you can see that when we look backwards, just how many of them there are all on top of each other at the moment.
Impressed so far. Everyone's clean racing. It's been very commendable.
Yeah, very. Look at this. These 6 cars all on top of each other. Randy Gandy, Watt, Firefish, Locker, Zach, Resilience. And as I say that, Zach makes a move as well and picks off one at the back.
And Watnell has taken Randy Gandy to gain that place back again.
And Devil Noob reclaims his lead of the race as well. This could be just trading back and forth between the Red Bull and the Mercedes. Shades of 2021.
We've got Desborough getting very close to Eagle as well.
Resilience in the Ferrari as well. Yeah, both of these Ferraris locked in pretty tight battles at the moment. We're 5 laps deep now into this race. Medium tyre runners may be starting to think about pit stops.
I think it's, from what I remember, I think it's more sort of towards lap 13, believe it or not.
Yep. I certainly will. Closer to lap 10, I think, is when the window formally opens to take a set of hards comfortably to the end of the race. But perhaps looking at options, escaping the DRS train maybe, working their way into an undercut kind of situation. There is opportunities for strategy around this circuit. It isn't all just drive as fast as you can in a straight line, even though it might feel like it for 90% of the race, as these 4 here and the 6 behind them are showing.
There may even be an opportunity to get medium, soft if anyone's feeling brave.
A particularly valuable strategy if a safety car is to rear its head in the late stages as well.
Absolutely.
Cornish, I think, just playing things safe at the moment, watching this this pack of cars ahead of him, and is happy to just kind of sit back and watch it unfold. He's got 1 driver on mediums ahead of him and 2 on hard, so he's not really racing the front 2 as it stands anyway.
There's no point pushing and possibly making a mistake that you didn't need to make. Oh, Watnell gets a 3-second penalty.
Yeah, as we've just seen a Haas behind do, unfortunately. And the key here, and we see this quite a lot, people pick up penalties and then the concentration drops, so you end up losing a couple positions just on track as well. Randy Gandy is going to look to take advantage of this situation now, I'm sure. Pulls around the left-hander onto the front of the 3 straights that make up this circuit, and Randy Gandy, with no real issues at all, is going to breeze past the Haas once again. That's a battle we're going to see through this entire race, I'm sure, until their strategies, unfortunately, split them up later on.
Firefish did have a little look himself, but nothing doing on that occasion.
There's an Alpine sticking his nose in there, and it's Firefish, and he does get the position for now. They're bumping tyres on the way round. Firefish gets a 3-second penalty for it, and I'm sure he won't be happy about that whatsoever. Locker as well managed to take advantage of that situation, and Zach's looking to capitalise as well. But unable to, they bump as well. Zach and Resilience coming together, but both still facing the correct direction.
Meanwhile, Devil Noob has retaken the lead again. It's just
Once
back and
again.
forth with the Mercedes and Red Bull.
I really do think that's going to be a trend pretty consistently through this race now. We will see it time and time again.
Maybe down to who can keep their concentration the best out of those two. Not discounting Rossi or Cornish, but different strategies. So we'll have to see how they all meet up at the end.
Rossi just pulling out there on Owen to maybe have a look at a move. Send the air of a dive bomb up the inside. Didn't go for it in the end, which is definitely the smart decision. Gains on Owen a little bit. As we said through qualifying, Owen's got the slowest car in a straight line, and that remains true in the race
This is
here.
where Owen comes good. They're around these twisty corners in sector 3.
That's where Devil Noob's been left vulnerable a couple times. Zach's having a bit of contact further back as well. Both the Ferrari and the Williams going side by side here once again through this final sector. These two going at it now.
If I saw correctly, then yep, Zach is flashing, so he has used a lot of his ERS.
Oh, there's contact made too between Firefish and Locker that time. And now the concentration starts to slip 10 laps in. And when you're right up the rear of these cars, lap after lap after lap, mistakes are going to happen.
Certainly are.
It's definitely wing damage on that Alpine. It's left him vulnerable. Resilience takes the position. Oh, he's going to try and take the position, and they bump as well. In the lower left corner of your screen. That's why the Ferrari suddenly so far back. Zach makes it through unscathed at least.
For me, Cornish is doing a very good job here of just sticking with these guys and not particularly fighting anything, just letting whatever happens in front of him happen. And someone makes a mistake, then I feel him make a move. But for now, he's playing a very good game.
Yeah, no, absolutely phenomenal. He's not putting himself in any danger whatsoever.
No risk of damage. He's not trying to fight anyone that could cause damage or cause a spin. Just keeping himself in there. That's all he needs to do.
So Firefish presumably is going to pit now with the wing damage that he picked up on the previous lap. It's going to have to be the mediums here, right? Unless he's going to swap onto the softs and bomb round for a few laps and move later.
It didn't even pit.
He's staying out. He is staying out.
Okay.
Double Noob taking a very defensive line there into turn 1.
Resilience goes past Firefish, which is to be expected. Oh, Locker with 3 seconds.
That's our 4th driver so far to pick up a 3-second time penalty. What and lol, Locker, Zach, and Firefish. Zach picking up a 3-second time penalty on lap 1 as
Owen
well.
is having a look at Devil Noob here. Devil Noob sends him to the outside. And he is ahead by the time we go into the chicane.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wonder if...
Oh, now that's interesting. Cornish with 3 seconds. That is not going to help him. And Devil Noob coming back again.
Yeah, gets the move done one more time. Out of ERS, though. As you can see by the warning light on the rear of his car.
Meanwhile,
Rapid Owen the race
has 91% ERS.
I mean, maybe just playing games.
Oh, and Cornish has taken Rossi. When did that happen?
There is one thing maybe to talk about with the clouds at the moment. There is a slight risk of rain. I mean, it's very, very small, 12%, but the forecast is showing it. So we'll be keeping an eye on that as well. I don't think we're going to get any, It seems to be getting sunnier later on, but it is certainly quite cloudy at the moment out there.
Um, Stars off and ERS top three. I can do that for you. So we got Devil Noob on 15%, well, 11% now because he was burning it just there. Owen on 93% now. And Cornish on 42%, but he's also burning his.
They're going to go three wide into the chicane here almost. And bumping wheels is Owen and Cornish. Cornish forced off the track too to boot. So a little bit of a controversial defense there from Owen. We'll see what
Mm.
maybe comes of that later on. I'll get you a replay here in just a moment too. And you can see Cornish set up the move very early. Owen pulled wider, seemingly to give him more room. Did get back ahead through the corner, but really forced Cornish off track, and he was side by side the whole time. Andy Gandy, What and Lol, Locker all
I
continuing
feel
their
like
battle too.
I feel like he should have given him a little more room there.
Hmm.
Oh, Resilience is into the pits. So he's on the mediums at the moment. I would assume he's going hards now till the end.
Yeah, first of the medium runners to pit as it stands as well. You've got to think really Rossi should be going here now.
Oh, and a
If
new
he
front wing for Resilience.
there you go. If Cornish has managed to move ahead, you're kind of sandwiched in here now. Lost the gap that you previously had. It was over 2 seconds, and now it's down to a second and a half. Rossi seems to be just losing time as well to that Alpine ahead of him. It's Rapid Owen and JD Doublenoob once again trade positions going into the chicane. This time it's the Mercedes out on top.
Very interestingly, Rossi has actually dropped out of the DRS of Cornish now.
Yeah, completely. So we'll get no assistance at all down the front stretch at least. Unless he can find a couple tenths before the end of the lap. The Haas of What and Lol once again making a move, and Randy Gandy gets past this time. Holding P5 for the Haas team. Right, let's see what Rossi then does as he rounds the big left-hander into this sweeping section. Pulls left, doesn't follow the pit entry though. He is going to stay out for one more lap, but the two leaders of the race who started on the hards are both pulling into the pit lane. That's going to unleash Cornish and Rossi.
Interesting.
Owen with a great 2.2 second stop. And he is out ahead of Devil Noob, but not by much, to be fair. These two very, very close to the back of each other. And we'll see what happens early on here. You got to think that Devil Noob's going to see this as a real opportunity to get ahead once again. I've been able to recharge ERS a little bit in the pits. Not a huge amount, though.
Devil Noob still only on 13% there. Rapid Owen on 60 now.
Must have used quite heavily on that in-lap, maybe thinking that Owen wasn't going to, and has instead been caught out. Two-second gap now between Cornish and Rossi. I really do think that maybe Rossi should have gone
Yeah,
on that last
seems
lap.
to be doing very, very well in his 13-lap old mediums. Suppose we'll see when he does box how much of an undercut there is at this circuit. As Aaron has retired from the race in the pits.
So that will just be yellow flags for a few seconds. And with no danger, no one pitting on this lap. I'm really
Cornish
surprised.
stays out again.
As does Rossi. Maybe Rossi's looking to give Randy Gandy a tow here. Give him DRS down the straights. That's a possibility.
It is.
It's going to lead to a double stack either way, though. They're this close to each other. And it would have been a problem regardless. But this is not going to help their situation whatsoever.
Is Randy Gandy going to get past Rossi and then Rossi block for him, maybe?
I think that's got to be the strategy. But Rossi was looking in a much better position than
Well, yeah, way better. I
Randy
think he
Gandy there. So
was. I think he was net P3.
unless he's got damage to the car, and that's why he's not trying
Possible,
to
possible.
pit just yet. He's trying to delay that for as long as he can. I mean, Rossi's right up the rear of him here. He really hasn't dropped off, but then he does have Locker right behind, as you can see. And that Aston Martin on the harder compounded tyres is certainly going to have more grip than he does on 14 lap old mediums.
You can see that Locker is just all over him, way more traction out the corners.
Staying out again though is Rossi, but Locker pulls in.
And
Randy
Locker
Gandy
boxes.
pulls in. Rossi staying out. Cornish pitting as well. .2 second stop for him as well. And Cornish is on the softs. He's going to look to run
Oh,
11 laps of softs until the end of this race.
that's um, it's an interesting one. I mean, obviously a much lighter load, but 11 laps is a long way to go on a set of softs here.
It's a huge amount of time. I mean, he's banking on a safety car, really, if he wants to see
Yeah,
those through in a comfortable condition at least.
as Firefish sets the fastest lap of the race with a 132.7.
And that is a good way faster. Only one other driver setting a lap in the 132s so far. And once again, that was Rapid Owen. Pole sitter.
You would imagine Cornish will dispatch of Watnell pretty easily here. Yeah.
Yeah, and does straight by. Doesn't even need the extra grip, really. Gets the job done before they even hit the chicane.
So we have Rossi in P1 at the moment, hasn't pitted yet on 15 lap old mediums, with Zach behind him on 15 lap old hards, and they both do box this time. Is Eagle boxes too. So that is everyone now had their pit stops.
And Rossi,
It'll be
who
interesting to
was,
see where Rossi can come out here.
yeah, I mean, leading before pit stops. He's only just getting into his pit box now. But he's going to be
Eagle has gone into soft as well,
a good way
as
down,
has
yeah, as
Rossi.
has Rossi. So a number of drivers looking to take these softs to the end of the race. Rossi's strategy may be pulling off here. I mean, he's a lot further down than Cornish is, but he's got a lap fresher on his tyres. Eagle as well, only just exiting the pits. Maybe Rossi's played a blinder here.
Quite possible. It's just how much grip will they have left at the end? My gut says not a lot.
Locker's got an Alpha Tauri firmly locked in his eyesight.
But
He's
he
got
did
that
just
three
take the
second time
mediums.
penalty. He's got to
Yeah.
take this position at least and try and form a bit of a gap. And in the end, breezes straight on by. It's an easy job for the Aston Martin.
Rossi did just take the mediums for 15 laps, so it's not out of the realms of possibility that he can take the softs for 10.
No, certainly not.
Stars ERS top three for you. Oh no, I've already done that. Never mind, ignore me.
Again, these four all on top of each other. Rossi unable to get those tyres fired up just yet. Cornish with the fastest lap, as is to be expected, a 132.215.
I'd be very surprised if Rossi isn't the next one with the fastest lap.
Yeah, I mean only 2.5 seconds slower than his previous best, and he was in the pits.
Yeah.
Randy
At the
Gandy,
minute, the closest is, yeah, I was about to say, is Randy Gandy on locker.
yeah, trying to reclaim his position that he lost on the previous lap, and does indeed claim it back. Rossi making up a position on Zach just behind as well. I think Locker's going to try and give a go back at Randy Gandy here. Does indeed. Thought about it a couple times, seeing if the
Very
gap was
close.
opening up, deciding once again not quite to go for it. Does go up the inside though this time. Now becomes the outside for the next turn. Switches back, trying everything he can, throwing the textbook at Randy Gandy, but he's unable so
Very good
far
battle.
to make anything stick through the final corner. Probably not going to be close enough for a look down into turn one. He's going to go for it anyway. Pulls back in. He really thought about that. And Rossi does indeed set the fastest lap, a 132
It does
flat
indeed.
this time.
That's going to be a tough one to beat now. Barring a late safety car. Oh, Firefish with another 3 seconds there.
Going to bump his total up and move him further down the field come the end of this race.
So now it's now 6 seconds of penalties. Watnell with the biggest gain so far in the race, up 6 positions.
Zach and Rossi trading blows. Zach getting his position back again.
And Eagle goes past Firefish. Fighting for 11th place there, so no points on offer, just a little bit of pride maybe. And Cornish with another 3 seconds.
That is going to really, really hurt his chances of a result here. But he's going to do
Although I
everything
have
he
to
can.
say, the speed he's caught up to Devil Noob is impressive, to say the least.
Well, he'll need to find a second and a half and get past Owen on this lap, really, which then gives him 6 laps to get a 6-second gap, or a 3-second gap, sorry. No, yeah, 6-second gap.
Yep,
So it's
6
going to be
seconds, yeah.
a second every lap if he can catch and pass Rapid Owen this time. It is possible. It's certainly possible. But if Owen's been saving and driving as smoothly as he can to save those tyres in particular, that's going to be an issue. It's also going to be a major issue if we get a safety car here late on. Plus, don't forget the Cornish pit onto these soft compound tyres earlier than anyone else. So he's got a good set for now, for sure. But they are going to wear out before anyone else's does.
Could be a very entertaining end to this race.
Certainly going to be close between all three at the top of the field. I will say that 1.5-second gap is now only just about a 1-second gap. So Cornish is certainly finding some time, and with tyres that are 2 laps older, Rapid Owen could start to see his drop off a little come the end of the race too. So it certainly isn't wrapped up yet. Firefish with another penalty, and indeed decides to pull into the pits and end his race.
You're right, Gravedigger. He can still be on the podium. As it stands, he would be on the podium. P3, but I'm sure he's going to be fighting for more than that. If he can. Devil Noob staying within touching distance of Cornish and Owen here.
Yeah, he's
As
giving
Randy
them.
Gandy goes past Watnell.
He's certainly giving them something to think about here. And once again, side by side, and the Haas moves back up to P4.
Locker getting involved in this as well.
Yeah, looking for an opportunity to sweep in and take a position or two. Gives him a very good shot at a podium. And JD Delnoob doing very well to hang on to the back of Cornish here and stay in that slipstream. It's going to give him a shot at Owen for the win, no doubt. But he really does need Cornish to make that pass quite soon here.
He really does. I think it's got to be on this on the big back straight here. He's got to get it done here.
It seems like the writing's on the wall a little bit for Rapid Owen. He'll still lead this race after penalties, but as it stands, the wall's resilience is out. That's a full safety car with 5 laps to go in this race.
What will everyone do?
This is an interesting one. Truly, I think Cornish has nothing to lose here, and by pitting for another set of softs, I think it's going to keep him P2.
You would imagine so.
I think that the onus is on Rapid Owen here to make a decision. I think Devil Noob is probably going to follow what he does. Randy Gandy, I imagine, will pit with 3 drivers with penalties behind him. He'll be looking at a good opportunity to claim those back. But that's 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. Still in with a shout here. May not need to pit, although I imagine Eagle probably will for an extra set of softs. Desbro maybe will too. Cornish does pull in for another set of tyres, but it's Rapid Owen who's the first to go.
Devil Noob follows. Randy Gandy also in.
And everybody.
And there's a crash.
There is Locker colliding with the back of Watt and Low. Every single car has pulled into the pit lane. Not a single one stayed out. Randy Gandy in. Watt and Low almost double stacking. There is a double stack at the Alpha Tauri garage. Desbro makes his way out pretty safely. Eagle still last. So, with 10 left, everybody scores a point. As long as you finish the race. That does certainly sour Cornish's hopes at a podium, but I wouldn't say it's over just yet. And we will have at most 4 laps of racing. I would suspect we'll get 1 more lap under the safety car, which would leave us with 3 laps.
So, everyone will press softs. So Randy Gandy has a chance at a podium here. Something went drastically wrong for Rossi because he's now in 8th when he was fighting in the top 4 for the whole first period of this race. On the bright side, everyone will get points now.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone who finishes will get points. This does another thing as well, which is let everyone recharge their batteries.
It does.
Which can be quite a key one. So those guys who were starting to struggle, Devil Noob in particular was one of those. Is now back up to full battery power.
Did we go through the standings at all?
Well, we certainly can now. I suppose now is the time to do it.
So as it stands, we have Whatnell leading the championship with 170 points. Second is Firefish on 115, closely followed by Eagle with 113. So Firefish here not scoring points, that is not going to help his case. And Eagle all the way down in 10th. So that's not going to help him either. Rapid Owen is in 4th, so he's on for a good haul of points here. He's on
Yeah, huge.
78 as it stands. Nifty Nasri, who's obviously not racing today, is in 5th place. Craggy in 6th. Desbro in 7th. Where is Desbro? He's in 9th at the minute, so a couple of points is going to obviously better than no points at all. Soggy Salmon and Rossi in 8th and 9th respectively, both on 51. Cornish in 10th on 48. Aaron, who has unfortunately retired from this race, is in 11th with 43 points. Randy Gandy, he's on for a good haul of points here. He's sat in 12th at the minute with 42. Benny Boy on 37. Resilience is 14th with 32 points. I'll try and get through this quickly just before the safety car restart. Locker
Indeed.
15th, Slee 16th, FFR Harry is 17th, Devil Noob only in 18th, Charismatic in 19th, Zach in 20th, SDK in 21st, Greg in 22nd, Skillissue in 23rd. And I think we'll go back to the racing now. I think that probably covers most of it.
Indeed, I mean the key story is definitely Owen wins this race and would move within 15 points of both Firefish and Eagle. Eagle only scoring the 1 point so far. Firefish retired every single driver on the soft compound of tyres, and we will have 3 laps of racing around France to end this Grand Prix. Rapid Owen will lead them down. He's going to go as late as he can to force Cornish and Devil Noob to stack up on top of each other. They're both running wide just to try and hold position so far. There he goes. Launches now. Randy Gandy almost got caught out there first thing. Just about holds it though. Devil Noob looked for a move there on Cornish. Decided to back out of it. And not go for anything just yet. These 3 laps are still 3 pretty long laps as far as a Grand Prix lap time goes. So there will be opportunities. There is plenty of heavy braking zones and plenty of chances for Cornish, Devil Noob, and Owen, if he needs to make some moves. Cornish running a little wide there as well. I'm surprised we didn't see anything warning-wise for that. Might have just kept himself in within track limits.
Owen already with 1.1 seconds over Cornish.
Yeah, he must be absolutely emptying the bucket with
he
that
certainly
battery.
Is. He's down to 27% ERS already.
There you go. It's all pretty tame. Devil Noob makes his way past Cornish. We knew that was going to happen fairly early on. Cornish with his penalty, though, is going to be looking to hold that position or reclaim it, I should say, for as long as he can and try and back those guys behind up. Locker pretty close to the back of Whatnell as well. There's a lot of battles here. But penalties are certainly going to have a lot to play with such a late safety car too. Coming around the final few turns is Rapid Owen. We will have 2 laps to go to finish this race.
There's no point looking for the closest battle on track because it's all very close.
They're all close indeed. They're all right on top of each other. I mean, this is the problem.
In fact, it's so close at the minute. Cornish would drop down to last.
Yeah, just about. Yeah, he would. Yeah.
So he needs to get himself a move on if he doesn't want to end up in 10th place here. Rapid Owen with 1.7 seconds now over Devil Noob. I think the race is his, barring any silly mistakes.
Well, let's see what he can do. Anything can happen. 1.5 to go now and some tricky corners. still left, but with fairly fresh soft compound tyres, you've got to think that that's probably not going to be too much of an issue for him. Cornish is getting quite close to the back of this Red Bull here and maybe considering a move once again. He's going to pull to the outside. I think he really did think about going the long way round there.
He really did.
Decided at the last second to drop back in, which again is probably the smart thing to do. Those gaps behind him are starting to form slowly but surely, but he's got an Alpha Tower right up his gearbox, and that could cause some issues for him later on. One lap now as Rapid Owen crosses the start-finish line for the final time before the checkered flag, and everybody is on that front straight.
With DRS enabled on this lap as well, so Cornish will have DRS on Devil Noob on the main straight at the back there.
Locker's trying to take positions here. Locker, Wattenlol, and Zach all fighting for position here still, despite having penalties. There was a huge lockup, I think, there, or maybe some dust kicking up from Randy Gandy. He is really doing everything he can here to get past Cornish. I don't think he's going to have enough time to take another position. He's got this third place podium pretty secured anyway, but he seems to be going for it. Locker's looking for a move. Desbro looking for a move behind as well. They're going to go 3 wide behind. There is contact made too. Zach does reclaim that position. Keeps P8. They're bumping all the way up as well.
Randy Gandy gets P2.
He does get P2. Devil Noob is all the way off to the side. He's going to reclaim it. He spin just about holds it. There's carbon fiber flying absolutely everywhere. A Haas, an Aston Martin, an Alpine, a Red Bull, and an Alpha Tauri all lead the way through the final few corners. They are 3 wide further back here. There's almost contact made once again. One of them almost pulled into the pits, and Locker gets another penalty because he ran just wide there through the exit. I thought Cornish was going to get one too. There's almost contact made further back as well. Desbro might just get Rossi here at the line. Just misses out. But we'll move up a few positions regardless because of penalties. Owen, the race winner with the calmest race of all.
What an ending.
I mean, like a true Max Verstappen, he had very, very little to do at the end there. And just kind of sat back and let it all unfold behind him. But Owen...
I would be very surprised if there's no stewards' inquiries coming into the stewards' room after that last lap there.
Most likely, I think the positions we've seen there are not going to be the final ones come the end of stewarding. But a very late safety car causing absolute chaos. And here, in just a moment, is a rundown of your results. So Rapid Owen taking a full 26-point haul, fastest lap as well. Takes the win. Randy Gandy in P2, Devil Noob P3, Rossi P4, Wattenlol P5, Eagle P6, Desbro P7, Zach P8, Cornish P9, Locker P10, Resilience P11, Firefish P12, Aaron P13. The final 3 all retiring from the race early. We will see who we can get in to have a chat with us about the race.
Whilst you try and get those in, I am just going to quickly nip for a toilet break.
No worries.
Otherwise, I'm going to pee myself, and that's not good.
Alright, well, we'll wait on these folks. Right. Well, we'll start. We'll start with you, Randy Gandy. First off, congratulations. It's nice seeing your name towards the top again. It's been a while for me, but congratulations. You, I mean, of the top three in particular, you seem to have the quietest race of them all. But talk us through it. How did you feel? How did that go for you?
Thank God for safety cars. That's all I'll say. I was more than happy to fit and end up being like maybe scraping a podium because of Callum's penalties. But obviously, yeah, that race was pretty. I had a really cracking race with Locker for most of it, which was really nice to enjoy. But yeah, apart from the Locker battle, and obviously then that late overtake on Devil Noob, I do feel a bit bad for him because it was a bit of a send on Callum, but I won't complain because I'm picking up the points. So yeah, I do feel bad. But at the end of the day, I'm just happy that I've managed to somehow squeak in a position I don't think I get because France is not normally my strong track. So yeah, happy with that.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, it seemed to be the way to go today was just keep your nose as clean as possible, and you certainly did that better than almost anybody else. But yeah, I mean, a race well driven. There's very little to say really. You kept out of danger as much as you could, and it paid off at the end. And yeah, as you say, thank goodness for late safety cars. Well, congratulations again, mate, and yeah,
cheers.
Enjoy it. Right then, a man I wasn't sure we were going to talk to, but I'm sure has many thoughts and feelings. Devil Noob, let's talk through it. I mean, that's not the result you wanted by any means, and it certainly didn't look like the result you were on for either, but give us your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much I can get away with saying, but I mean, initially the way I see it from that last lap incident is, I mean, Cornish got 6 seconds. I'm defending for a P2. Got Randy Gandy obviously without any penalties behind as well. Bearing that in mind, obviously after the safety car and then the send I don't have an issue with. It was obviously running deep, and then that's caused him to hit me, hitting the curb or whatever, and then I've lost the position because of that. But other than that, I mean, great race. Even if Owen cut the pit entry to avoid my undercut.
Well, we've said we think this race is probably going to be determined more by the stewards than it is what actually happened out there on track, or certainly what the result is. So we'll leave that one up in the air. I mean, you two were just tussling back and forth the entire race, and it looked to be, well, perfectly clean, at least from our point of view, for the vast majority of it. It's obviously a shame.
Yeah, I think there was a bit of teamwork, sort of non-disclosed teamwork. Knew we had the medium runners behind us. Owen being in my chat as well. Sort of just trying to just keep it clean and not battle. And I think he twigged that I was going to report him after the pit stop, so he put his foot down on the second stint, and then off Owen went. But yeah, that was really good on the first stint. Bit of a hard DRS train, really having to concentrate to obviously keep the cars behind. But yeah, that was good.
Well, look, a podium is a podium. It's certainly not the step you wanted to be on, but congratulations regardless. It's certainly gonna.
GG's to Randy Gandy for obviously being there, right place, right time on that one. I couldn't quite fight back. Couldn't get the X out of the last corner to try and get that P2 back, but I tried.
Well, you're on the up at least. Good luck for next week, and congratulations on a podium regardless.
Cheers.
And then, well, last but certainly not least, a man who certainly lives up to his name as well. Owen, you're, you've driven a blinder today, start to finish. I say it's some great battling that we witnessed all the way through between you and Devil Noob. It's huge for you in the standings as well, but talk us through it. How was that for you today?
Yeah, it was quite good actually. I felt at the first stint was very hard for me. However, the second stint was a lot better on the mediums, and I had a lot more pace on the mediums than the hards, so that went well. And the battles were good. And then on the second stint as well, I tried to put my foot down a bit more and break the DRS because I accidentally crossed the pit lane line thing. So I'll probably get a penalty, but still,
Okay.
it was a good race either way.
When the safety car came out so late was there any debate for you about what you were going to do, or was it a pretty immediate decision?
I mean, I knew Cornish was going to pit for new softs because, well, he was already on softs and they were going to be 70% at the end of the race. So I definitely knew he was going to pit, and I knew JD was going to pit because I can hear him in my ear. So I also knew he was going to pit. So I was like, okay, well, I'll go for it. And the softs felt really nice, so I'm happy I did. So yeah.
No, I mean, especially the way you bolted away on that second stint was mighty, and yeah, I mean, you just, as we've said, it was getting out of danger was the key, and you certainly did that after the safety car restart and let all the mess happen behind you.
That was the plan, yeah.
I mean, congratulations on the win.
Thanks.
Certainly does you very well for the standards. I don't think it moves you up a position, but you're certainly in good stead to claim
quite close
P2.
now.
So
within touching distance now.
yeah, well done once again, and yeah,
Thank you.
enjoy the win.
Thanks. Good commentating as well.
I appreciate it. Any closing thoughts from you, Adam, or are you happy enough?
I'm happy enough. How do you feel about next week? Is it Hungary next week? I am so confused as to where we are.
It is indeed. It is Hungary next week.
It's Hungary next week. How do you feel about Hungary next week, Owen?
Oh, that's one of my best tracks, so I'm looking forward to it.
Interesting. Doing the
Okay.
double,
Well,
maybe.
It's high downforce, so that's the only reason. High downforce tracks are usually my strong point, so yeah.
Well, as I've rambled on about several times, you were one of the slowest in quali in terms of
Yeah, I did
top
hear
speed.
that,
So
actually, yeah.
so high
That's the
downforce,
lowest, yeah.
clearly your strong suit. You've made that known at least. So well, we'll see how it goes.
I love Hungary, so it should be fun.
Beautiful.
Good
Right.
stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
best of luck to you.
Yeah, thanks guys.
All right, we'll close that out now then. Congratulations once again, Owen, Randy Gandy, and Devil Noob on your podiums for now. At least we'll see what happens come the end of stewarding. RSF1 back again tomorrow for Division 3. We'll be back same time again next Tuesday for Division 2. It has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you to everybody for having me back. Wee Biscuits, head of commentary, I appreciate it very much. I can only apologize time and time again for the lack of audio today. We will get it sorted for next time out, I'm sure. But thank you all very, very much. Same time again tomorrow, 8 p.m. UK time for Division 3. Good night.